Hey guys, have you ever thought while looking at a star that how did it begin or how will it end? Today I will tell you the whole life cycle of a star from the beginning of a protostar to the end of a neutron star or black hole.
So, it all starts with the protostar. Stellar evolution starts with the gravitational collapse of a giant molecular cloud. As it collapses, the giant molecular cloud breaks into smaller and smaller pieces. As its temperature and pressure increases, a fragment condenses into a rotating sphere of superhot gases known as protostar. Then comes the brown dwarfs and the substellar objects. Protostars with masses less than roughly 0.08 the mass of Sun never reach temperatures high enough for nuclear fusion of hydrogen to begin. These are known as brown dwarfs. Main sequence stars. For a more massive protostar, the core temperature will eventually reach 10 million Kelvin, initiating the proton-proton chain reaction and allowing hydrogen to fuse first to deuterium and then to helium. Eventually, the core exhausts and its supply of hydrogen and the star begins to evolve off the main sequence. Now, for the low mass stars, a low mass star ceases to produce energy through fusion, has not been directly observed. In mid-sized stars, which are dead giants during two different phases of their post-main sequence evolution, red giant branch stars with inert core made of hydrogen and helium burning shells, and asymptotic giant branch stars with inert cores made of carbon and helium. Post-AGB. These mid-range stars ultimately reach the tip of the asymptotic giant branch and run out of fuel for shell burning. They are not sufficiently massive to start full-scale carbon fusion, so they contract again, going through a period of post-asymptotic giant branch superwind to produce a planetary nebula with an extremely hot central star. Now for the massive stars. In massive stars, the core is already large enough at the onset of the hydrogen burning cell that helium ignition will occur before electron degeneracy pressure has been a chance to become prevalent. Thus, when these stars expand and cool, they do not brighten as dramatically as low mass stars. However, they were more luminous on the main sequence and they evolved to highly luminous supergiants. Supernova. Supernova occurs at the end of a single star's lifetime. As the star runs out of nuclear fuel, some of its mass flows onto its core. Eventually, the core is so heavy that it cannot withstand its own gravitational force. The core collapses, which results in the giant explosion of a supernova. The Sun is a single star, but it does not have enough mass to become a supernova. White dwarfs. Like similarly for supernova, but for a star of one solar mass, the resulting white dwarf is about 0.6 solar mass, compressed into approximately the volume of the Earth. White dwarfs are stable because the inward pull of gravity is balanced by the degenerate pressure of the star's electrons. Neutron stars. Ordinarily, atoms are mostly electron clouds by volume, with very compact nuclei at the center. For example, if atoms were the size of a football stadium, the nuclei would be the size of dust mites. When a stellar core collapses, the pressure causes electrons and protons to fuse by electron capture. Without electrons which keep nuclei apart, the neutrons collapse into a dense ball with a thin overlying layer of degenerate matter. The neutrons resist further compression by the Pauli exclusion principle, in which analogues to electron degeneracy pressure but strong. Now, if the mass of the stellar remnant is high enough, the neutron degeneracy pressure will be insufficient to prevent collapse. The stellar remnant thus becomes a black hole. The mass at which this occurs is not known with certainty but is currently estimated at 2 and 3 solar masses. Black holes are predicted by the theory of general relativity According to the classic general relativity, no matter or information can flow from the interior of a black hole to the outside observer.
So that's the end. If you like the video, please like, comment and subscribe the channel.